What is PCOS? The real reason behind irregular periods and facial hair. Voiceover hook, 1,500 words, no extra text. The silent struggle. You never knew had a name. It often begins subtly. One missed period, then two, maybe even three. You brush it off as stress or diet changes. But then, you notice something else. Stubborn acne, unexplained weight gain, and tiny dark hairs sprouting on your chin or upper lip. You feel like your body is changing in ways that don't make sense. And no matter how many creams, diets, or workouts you try, nothing seems to work. You're not alone. Millions of women worldwide are silently struggling with a condition that most don't even know they have. It's called Polycystic Ovary Syndrome, or PCOS, and it could be the hidden force behind your hormonal chaos. But what exactly is PCOS? Is it just about irregular periods and facial hair, or is it something far deeper, far more complex, and far more misunderstood? Not just a women's problem, a hormonal domino effect. PCOS is more than a reproductive issue. It's a full-body hormonal imbalance that can affect everything from your skin to your metabolism, from your mood to your fertility. This condition affects 1 in 10 women of reproductive age. That's millions who wake up every day battling symptoms they don't understand, often without answers or support. The core problem in PCOS isn't just the ovaries. It's the way your body processes androgens, a group of male hormones that women also produce, but in much smaller amounts. In PCOS, your body produces more androgens than normal, throwing your hormones completely off balance. This causes irregular ovulation, which leads to irregular periods, or none at all. The excess androgens also cause facial hair, acne, and hair thinning on the scalp. The hidden face of PCOS. Beyond the symptoms. PCOS doesn't always come with clear textbook symptoms. Some women with PCOS are slim, others struggle with weight gain. Some have cysts on their ovaries, some don't. Some experience extreme fatigue and depression, while others feel physically fine but can't conceive. The face of PCOS is different for every woman, and that's what makes it so confusing and underdiagnosed. But the most alarming part? Many women live with PCOS for years before ever getting diagnosed. They're told their symptoms are normal, just stress, or part of growing older. But behind these symptoms lies a real condition that demands understanding, attention, and compassion. What really causes PCOS? Doctors don't know the exact cause of PCOS, but it's believed to involve a combination of genetics, insulin resistance, and inflammation. Insulin resistance is a major player. When your body can't use insulin properly, it produces more. This excess insulin can cause your ovaries to produce more androgens, worsening all the symptoms. That's why many women with PCOS also struggle with sugar cravings, weight gain, and an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. It's not just about reproductive hormones. It's about your entire endocrine system being thrown off balance. The emotional weight of PCOS. It's not just the physical symptoms that make PCOS so painful. It's the emotional toll. The constant fight with your body, the frustration of not getting answers, the shame that comes with unexpected hair growth, or the fear of infertility, the anxiety of never knowing when your period will show up, or if it ever will. Women with PCOS are more likely to experience depression, anxiety, body image issues, and low self-esteem. They often feel like strangers in their own bodies, trapped in a cycle of hormonal chaos they can't control. Facial hair, the symptom nobody talks about. For many women, one of the most distressing symptoms of PCOS is hirsutism, the growth of coarse, dark hair in areas where women usually don't grow much hair, like the chin, chest, or stomach. Caused by elevated androgen levels, it's not just a cosmetic issue. It's a deep emotional wound. Imagine the stress of shaving or plucking every single day, the embarrassment of being seen up close, the shame of having to hide your face behind makeup or filters. It's an invisible battle, but for those who face it, it's very, very real. Irregular periods, your body's cry for help. Your menstrual cycle is like a monthly report card from your body. When your periods are irregular, delayed, or completely missing, it's your body waving a red flag. In PCOS, periods become unpredictable or vanish altogether because of irregular ovulation. You might go months without a period, then experience heavy bleeding that seems never ending. Or you may have periods that show up like clockwork, but still deal with other PCOS symptoms. The inconsistency makes it hard to track fertility, plan life events, or even understand what's happening inside your own body. Why getting diagnosed is so difficult. One of the most heartbreaking realities of PCOS is how long it takes to get diagnosed. Studies show that it can take up to 2 years and visits to 3 different doctors before women receive a proper diagnosis. Why? Because many symptoms are seen as normal parts of womanhood, like acne, weight gain, or mood swings. PCOS also mimics other conditions, like thyroid disorders or simple hormonal fluctuations. There's no single test to diagnose it, and many doctors still don't take women's symptoms seriously. Too often, women are told to just lose weight, relax, or take the pill, without understanding the root cause. Treatment isn't one size fits all. There's no cure for PCOS, but it can be managed, and management starts with understanding. Some women find relief through birth control pills, which help regulate periods and reduce androgen levels. Others turn to anti-androgen medications or insulin-sensitizing drugs like metformin. But lifestyle changes are just as powerful, especially when it comes to diet, exercise, and stress management. Eating a low-sugar, whole food diet can reduce insulin resistance. Regular physical activity can improve mood and hormonal balance. And managing stress through sleep, meditation, or therapy can help bring some peace to your mind and body. You're not alone and you're not broken. PCOS can make you feel like your body is working against you, like you're constantly chasing a version of yourself that feels just out of reach. But here's the truth. You are not broken. You are not weak. And you are definitely not alone. Thousands of women are walking the same path, figuring out how to manage their symptoms, reclaim their health, and find joy again in their bodies. And while PCOS may be a lifelong condition, it does not define you. With knowledge, support, and the right tools, you can take control of your health. You can find balance. And you can learn to love the skin you're in, even when it doesn't always feel easy. So, what now? If you think you might have PCOS, listen to your body. Track your symptoms. Talk to a healthcare provider who takes you seriously. Get blood tests. Get an ultrasound. Get answers. Because behind every irregular period, every stubborn chin hair, every unexplained mood swing, there could be a name for what you're going through. And once you know that name, you can finally start the journey toward healing. This is PCOS, and it's time we talked about it. Understanding PCOS, the hidden hormonal imbalance. Polycystic Ovary Syndrome, commonly known as PCOS, is one of the most misunderstood and underdiagnosed hormonal disorders affecting women today. While it's often associated with irregular periods or infertility, PCOS is far more complex. It impacts the endocrine system, which controls the balance of hormones throughout the body. This imbalance leads to a cascade of symptoms that affect not just the reproductive system, but also the skin, weight, mood, and overall health. At the core of PCOS is an overproduction of androgens, often referred to as male hormones, though women naturally produce them in smaller amounts. In women with PCOS, these hormone levels rise abnormally, disrupting the balance needed for regular ovulation and menstruation. When ovulation doesn't occur regularly, it leads to irregular periods, and without the shedding of the uterine lining each month, periods may become infrequent, prolonged, or absent altogether. But PCOS doesn't stop at menstrual irregularities. Elevated androgen levels can lead to excess facial and body hair, a condition known as hirsutism. This hair growth most commonly occurs on the face, chest, back, and abdomen, areas where men typically grow hair. For many women, this symptom is not just a physical burden, but an emotional one, triggering shame, anxiety, and a constant need to manage their appearance. Another defining feature of PCOS is the presence of multiple small cysts on the ovaries, which are often discovered during a pelvic ultrasound. These cysts are actually immature follicles, tiny sacs filled with fluid that contain eggs that never fully mature or get released during ovulation. Despite the name polycystic, not all women with PCOS have these cysts, and not all cysts indicate PCOS. This is why the syndrome is diagnosed based on a combination of symptoms, medical history, and lab results, not just one factor alone. Insulin resistance is another key contributor to PCOS. When the body's cells become resistant to insulin, the pancreas compensates by producing more. This excess insulin can increase androgen production in the ovaries, fueling symptoms like weight gain, acne, and excess hair growth. Over time, this insulin resistance can lead to serious health complications, including type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and metabolic syndrome. Many women with PCOS struggle with weight management due to insulin resistance and hormonal imbalances. Even when eating healthy or exercising regularly, they may find it difficult to lose weight or maintain a healthy body mass. This can feel deeply frustrating and discouraging, especially when society places so much value on appearance. Emotionally, PCOS takes a heavy toll. Anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem are common among women with the condition, often as a result of struggling with visible symptoms like acne, facial hair, and weight gain. The fear of infertility also looms large, with many women feeling uncertain about their future ability to conceive. While PCOS is a leading cause of infertility, it's important to note that many women with the condition do go on to have successful pregnancies, often with the help of treatment and lifestyle changes. Despite its prevalence, PCOS remains widely misunderstood. It affects at least 1 in 10 women of reproductive age, yet many go undiagnosed for years. The symptoms can vary greatly from woman to woman, and because they often overlap with other conditions, like thyroid disorders, hormonal imbalances, or simply stress, PCOS is frequently overlooked. Too often, women are told their symptoms are normal, or that they'll grow out of them, leaving them to manage the confusion and distress alone. Diagnosis usually involves a combination of methods. Blood tests are used to measure hormone levels, checking for elevated androgens or other signs of imbalance. A pelvic ultrasound may be performed to look for the characteristic ovarian cysts. Doctors also review menstrual history and symptoms like hair growth, acne, and weight changes. The Rotterdam criteria, one of the most widely used diagnostic tools, states that 2 out of the following 3 must be present to diagnose PCOS: irregular or absent ovulation, high androgen levels, and polycystic ovaries. Unfortunately, because there's no single definitive test for PCOS, and because its symptoms can look different for every woman, many cases are misdiagnosed or missed entirely. This delay in diagnosis can lead to years of unnecessary suffering, untreated symptoms, and increased risk of long-term health problems. Understanding PCOS is the first step toward reclaiming control. Knowledge empowers women to recognize their symptoms, advocate for proper care, and make informed decisions about treatment. While there is no cure for PCOS, it is manageable with a combination of medical treatment, lifestyle changes, and emotional support. Women with PCOS are resilient. They wake up every day fighting battles most can't see. They manage symptoms, navigate stigma, and seek answers in a world that often doesn't listen. But the more we talk about PCOS, the more awareness we raise, and the closer we get to a world where no woman has to suffer in silence. In the next part, we will explore the causes behind PCOS in greater depth, unpacking how genetics, insulin resistance, inflammation, and lifestyle factors come together to fuel this condition. Because to truly understand PCOS, we must go beyond the surface and into the science of what's really happening inside the body. The root causes of PCOS. What's really happening inside your body. Understanding what causes PCOS requires looking beneath the surface, beyond the visible symptoms, and exploring the biological and genetic factors that drive this condition. While the exact cause of PCOS is still not fully understood, researchers believe that several key mechanisms work together to disrupt hormonal balance and affect overall health. The first and most significant factor is insulin resistance. Insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreas that helps your body convert sugar into energy. In many women with PCOS, the body's cells become resistant to insulin. This means that the pancreas must produce even more insulin to keep blood sugar levels in check. High insulin levels, in turn, stimulate the ovaries to produce more androgens, male hormones like testosterone. These elevated androgen levels are what cause many of the hallmark PCOS symptoms: irregular periods, facial hair, acne, and weight gain. Insulin resistance doesn't just affect reproductive hormones. It also increases the risk of type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, and heart disease. Many women with PCOS have prediabetes or are at greater risk of developing metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions that raise the likelihood of cardiovascular problems. This makes PCOS not only a reproductive concern, but also a long-term health issue that requires continuous care and lifestyle management. Next is inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is common in women with PCOS. Inflammatory markers in the blood, like C-reactive protein, CRP, are often elevated. This inflammation can worsen insulin resistance and further contribute to excess androgen production. Inflammation may also be responsible for the fatigue, bloating, and digestive issues that many women with PCOS experience but often overlook or misattribute to other causes. Genetics also play a strong role in the development of PCOS. If your mother, sister, or another close relative has PCOS, your risk increases significantly. Scientists have identified several genes linked to the condition, many of which affect hormone regulation, insulin function, and immune response. However, genetics alone don't determine your fate. Environmental and lifestyle factors can either trigger or worsen symptoms, meaning that even women with a genetic predisposition can manage the condition effectively through targeted changes. Another contributing factor is disrupted communication between the brain and ovaries. The hypothalamus and pituitary gland in the brain send hormonal signals that control ovulation. In PCOS, these signals often become dysregulated, resulting in increased secretion of luteinizing hormone, LH, and reduced levels of follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH. This hormonal imbalance prevents the ovaries from releasing eggs properly and leads to the formation of immature follicles, commonly seen as cysts on ultrasound. The gut microbiome has also emerged as a possible player in PCOS. Research shows that women with PCOS often have an imbalance of good and bad bacteria in their digestive tract, which can impact insulin sensitivity, inflammation, and weight regulation. Improving gut health through probiotics, fiber-rich foods, and reduced sugar intake may be one way to manage symptoms naturally and improve metabolic health. Environmental toxins and endocrine-disrupting chemicals found in plastics, cosmetics, and processed foods may also play a role in triggering or worsening hormonal imbalance. These substances can mimic or interfere with natural hormones in the body, potentially increasing the risk of developing PCOS or making symptoms worse. It's important to understand that PCOS isn't caused by something you did or didn't do. It's not your fault. It's not simply about being overweight or stressed. PCOS is a complex endocrine disorder influenced by a combination of internal and external factors. Blaming yourself or being blamed by others only adds to the emotional burden. That said, lifestyle choices do influence how PCOS manifests and progresses. A diet high in refined carbohydrates and sugars can worsen insulin resistance. A sedentary lifestyle can reduce metabolism and hormonal balance. Chronic stress can raise cortisol levels, which indirectly affects insulin and reproductive hormones. That's why doctors often recommend a combination of medication and lifestyle modifications as the most effective way to manage PCOS. Dietary changes can have a powerful impact. Reducing sugar, eating more whole foods, and increasing fiber intake can improve insulin sensitivity and lower inflammation. Adding healthy fats, lean proteins, and antioxidant-rich vegetables helps regulate hormones and promote better energy levels. Physical activity is another key factor. Regular exercise, especially a combination of cardio and strength training, can reduce insulin resistance, support weight loss, and improve mood. Even moderate movement, like walking or yoga, can make a noticeable difference over time. Managing stress is equally important. Chronic stress can exacerbate hormonal imbalances and make symptoms worse. Mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing, and getting enough sleep each night can all help regulate cortisol levels and improve overall well-being. PCOS is a lifelong condition, but that doesn't mean you're powerless. With the right knowledge, support, and plan, you can reduce symptoms, lower your risk of complications, and feel more in control of your health and body. In the next part, we will explore how PCOS affects mental health and self-image, delving into the emotional side of this condition that often goes unspoken. Because the scars PCOS leaves aren't just on the body, they're on the mind too. And healing requires more than just medication. It requires compassion, community, and courage. The emotional and mental toll of PCOS, the silent struggle. Within PCOS is often discussed in terms of physical symptoms, irregular periods, facial hair, weight gain. But what rarely gets enough attention is the emotional and psychological toll it takes on women. Living with PCOS doesn't just impact the body. It can deeply affect mental health, self-esteem, and relationships. The daily battles with an unpredictable body can lead to emotional exhaustion that few truly understand. One of the most overlooked aspects of PCOS is how isolating it can feel. Many women suffer in silence, blaming themselves for symptoms they can't control. The constant struggle to manage acne, conceal facial hair, or lose stubborn weight often leads to a distorted self-image. It's hard to feel confident when your reflection doesn't match how you feel inside. This internal conflict can create a vicious cycle of self-criticism, anxiety, and shame. Depression and anxiety are extremely common in women with PCOS, more than in the general female population. This isn't just because of the stress of dealing with symptoms. It's also due to the hormonal imbalances that affect neurotransmitters in the brain. Low levels of serotonin, dopamine, and other mood-regulating chemicals are often linked to both PCOS and insulin resistance, contributing to mood swings, irritability, and emotional fatigue. For many women, the most painful symptom of PCOS isn't physical. It's the fear of infertility. The uncertainty about whether they'll be able to conceive can feel like a dark cloud hanging over their future. Every missed period becomes a reminder that something is wrong. Every pregnancy announcement on social media can feel like a stab in the heart. This silent grief can lead to depression, relationship strain, and feelings of inadequacy or failure as a woman. Social pressure and beauty standards only worsen the mental burden. Society tells women they should look a certain way: clear skin, hair-free bodies, slim figures. But PCOS can make all of these things difficult to achieve, even with extreme effort. Facial hair, cystic acne, and belly fat become sources of embarrassment and anxiety. Many women avoid social events, romantic relationships, or even mirrors out of fear of judgment or rejection. There's also the emotional toll of doctor visits and medical gaslighting. Many women with PCOS are dismissed or misdiagnosed for years. They're told to just lose weight, wait it out, or take birth control without proper investigation into the root of their symptoms. This repeated dismissal can lead to a deep mistrust of healthcare providers, making women feel unseen, unheard, and unsupported. This emotional struggle doesn't end with a diagnosis. In fact, for many, that's when the real battle begins. Being told you have a chronic condition with no cure can feel overwhelming. The need to constantly manage symptoms, research treatments, try new diets, and explain the condition to others can lead to burnout and emotional exhaustion. Relationships are also impacted. Women with PCOS may struggle with libido due to hormonal imbalances. Others feel embarrassed or ashamed of their bodies, leading to intimacy issues. The fear of infertility can create tension in marriages or long-term partnerships. Many women feel like they have to hide their condition or downplay their struggles to avoid being seen as too much or too difficult. But it's important to know that you are not alone in this struggle. Millions of women worldwide are walking this same path. They're hiding tweezers in their purses, covering acne with makeup, crying silently after stepping on the scale, and wondering if their bodies will ever feel normal. They're strong, but they're also tired. They need support, not judgment. Understanding, not advice. Compassion, not criticism. Mental health should be a core part of PCOS treatment. Therapy, whether individual or group-based, can be incredibly helpful in managing the emotional weight of the condition. Support groups, online or in person, offer a safe space to share stories, find encouragement, and feel less alone. Mindfulness practices like meditation, journaling, and deep breathing can help reduce anxiety and restore emotional balance. Self-care is essential, not just as a buzzword, but as a lifeline. Taking time to nurture your body and mind is not selfish, it's necessary. Whether it's taking a walk in nature, saying no to draining social obligations, or simply allowing yourself to rest without guilt, these small acts of care can rebuild your relationship with your body. Redefining beauty and self-worth is also part of the healing journey. Your value is not defined by your skin, your weight, or your menstrual cycle. You are not less feminine because you have facial hair. You are not less worthy because your body doesn't behave like others. PCOS may be a part of your story, but it is not your whole identity. Education and awareness are powerful tools for breaking the stigma. The more we talk about PCOS and its emotional impact, the more we normalize the experience and empower women to seek help without shame. Sharing your story, even if it feels scary, can inspire others to open up, get diagnosed, or find strength in their own journey. In the next part, we'll explore how PCOS can be managed, not just with medication, but with holistic, lifestyle-driven approaches that support the body, balance hormones, and restore a sense of control. Because while PCOS may not have a cure, it doesn't have to control your life. There is hope, there are options, and healing is possible. Managing PCOS naturally, lifestyle, diet, and sustainable healing. While PCOS may not have a permanent cure, it is a highly manageable condition. The most powerful tools for managing PCOS don't always come in the form of prescriptions. In fact, lifestyle changes, when done consistently and mindfully, can be as effective, if not more so, than medication for many women. These changes don't just ease symptoms, they help bring the body back into balance from the inside out. Let's start with nutrition, because what you eat has a direct impact on hormones, insulin levels, and inflammation. A poor diet can worsen PCOS symptoms, while a balanced, whole food-based diet can help stabilize them. But this isn't about going on a crash diet or cutting calories to the extreme. It's about eating in a way that supports your body's unique hormonal needs. One of the most important dietary principles for PCOS is managing insulin resistance. This means reducing foods that spike blood sugar, like refined carbohydrates, sugary snacks, white bread, soda, and highly processed foods. These cause insulin levels to rise, which in turn leads to more androgen production, worsened acne, irregular cycles, and stubborn weight. Instead, focus on low-glycemic, nutrient-dense foods. These include whole grains like quinoa and oats, fiber-rich vegetables like broccoli, kale, and spinach, and healthy fats such as avocado, olive oil, nuts, and seeds. Lean proteins like fish, chicken, tofu, and lentils help maintain muscle mass and keep you feeling full longer. Fiber is especially helpful in PCOS. It supports digestion, balances blood sugar, and aids in estrogen metabolism. Incorporate anti-inflammatory foods like berries, turmeric, green tea, and omega-3 rich fish such as salmon. These foods reduce chronic inflammation, which is often elevated in PCOS and contributes to symptoms like bloating, fatigue, and pain. While diet is foundational, exercise is equally essential. Regular movement helps lower insulin resistance, improve mood, and support hormonal balance. You don't need to spend hours in the gym. Consistency is more important than intensity. A combination of strength training and moderate cardio works best. Strength training helps build muscle, which increases your metabolism and improves insulin sensitivity. Cardio activities like brisk walking, cycling, or swimming support heart health and aid in weight management. High-intensity interval training, IIT, can also be effective for some women with PCOS, but it's important not to overdo it. Over-exercising or extreme workouts can increase cortisol, the stress hormone, which may worsen hormonal imbalances in the long run. Always listen to your body and prioritize recovery and rest just as much as activity. Managing stress is another critical, yet often neglected piece of the PCOS puzzle. Chronic stress raises cortisol levels, which can interfere with ovulation, worsen insulin resistance, and amplify symptoms like cravings, fatigue, and irregular periods. Incorporating daily stress-reducing activities is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation, deep breathing exercises, and gentle yoga, can help calm the nervous system. Even simple actions like journaling, taking a warm bath, or disconnecting from screens before bed can help reduce stress levels over time. Getting adequate sleep is also vital, as disrupted sleep patterns are linked to higher insulin levels and hormonal imbalance. Supplements may also be helpful for managing PCOS, though they should be used under the guidance of a healthcare provider. Some of the most researched supplements for PCOS include inositol, particularly myo-inositol and D-chiro-inositol, supports insulin sensitivity and ovulation. Vitamin D, often deficient in women with PCOS, it supports hormonal health and immune function. Magnesium helps regulate insulin and reduce PMS symptoms. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation and support cardiovascular health. Zinc may reduce androgen-related symptoms like acne and hair loss. It's important to note that every woman's PCOS experience is different, so there's no one-size-fits-all approach. What works for one person may not work for another. That's why listening to your body, Tracking your symptoms and adjusting your habits accordingly is key to finding what truly helps you. For some women, medical treatment is still necessary. This may include hormonal birth control to regulate cycles and reduce androgens, or medications like metformin to improve insulin sensitivity. Fertility treatments may also be needed for those trying to conceive, but even when medications are involved, lifestyle changes remain the foundation of long-term PCOS management. PCOS management is not about perfection. It's about progress and consistency. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start small. Replace one sugary drink with water. Add an extra vegetable to your dinner. Go for a 15-minute walk after meals. Prioritize sleep by setting a bedtime routine. Over time, these small actions build powerful momentum. It's also crucial to create a supportive environment. This includes your physical environment, having healthy food in your kitchen, making time for rest, but also your emotional one. Surround yourself with people who understand, who uplift you, and who respect your journey. PCOS can feel isolating, but it doesn't have to be. Whether it's through online communities, local support groups, or close friends, having people to talk to makes a big difference. The path to healing from PCOS is not linear. There will be setbacks, good days, and tough ones. But every step you take toward understanding and caring for your body is a victory. It's not just about managing symptoms. It's about learning to work with your body instead of fighting it. In the next part, we'll dive into how PCOS affects fertility, how women with PCOS can still get pregnant, and what steps they can take to support reproductive health naturally and medically. Because PCOS might complicate the journey to motherhood, but it doesn't have to end it. PCOS and fertility. Understanding the challenges and finding hope. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of PCOS for many women is the fear and uncertainty surrounding fertility. For those who dream of becoming mothers, hearing the words "you have PCOS" can feel like a devastating blow. But while PCOS is one of the leading causes of infertility, it does not mean that pregnancy is impossible. Far from it. In fact, with the right approach, many women with PCOS go on to conceive and have healthy pregnancies. To understand how PCOS affects fertility, it's important to first look at how ovulation works. In a typical menstrual cycle, hormones from the brain signal the ovaries to develop and release an egg, a process known as ovulation. But in women with PCOS, hormonal imbalances disrupt this process. The ovaries may start to develop eggs but don't release them regularly. This is called anovulation, and it's the primary reason many women with PCOS struggle to conceive. Without ovulation, there's no egg available for fertilization, which means conception can't occur. Even in women who do ovulate occasionally, the timing can be unpredictable, making it harder to plan around fertile windows. Irregular or absent periods are often the first sign that something is off with ovulation. Another fertility barrier is high levels of androgens, which not only affect ovulation, but also the quality of cervical mucus and the uterine lining, two factors essential for implantation. Insulin resistance, a core feature of PCOS, further complicates things by interfering with hormonal signaling and ovarian function. But here's the good news. PCOS-related infertility is treatable. With the right combination of medical care, lifestyle changes, and sometimes fertility support, many women with PCOS do become pregnant. The first step is often working to regulate the menstrual cycle and restore ovulation. For some women, this starts with lifestyle modifications alone. Weight loss, even a modest 5 to 10 cent, can dramatically improve ovulation and increase the chances of conception. This isn't about achieving a perfect number on the scale, but about reducing insulin levels, balancing hormones, and supporting reproductive function. Healthy eating, regular exercise, stress reduction, and sleep all play a role in bringing the body back into hormonal rhythm. When lifestyle changes alone aren't enough, medications may be introduced. One of the most common is clomiphene citrate, Clomid, a fertility drug that helps stimulate ovulation. Another option is letrozole, Femara, which is often used off-label for the same purpose and has shown promising results in women with PCOS. For those with insulin resistance, metformin may be prescribed to lower insulin levels and encourage regular ovulation. If oral medications don't work, more advanced treatments like gonadotropin injections or in vitro fertilization, IVF, may be considered. These interventions increase the chances of ovulation and conception, but come with higher costs and risks, so they're usually considered after other methods have been tried. It's also important to address male partner fertility. Fertility is a shared journey, and sometimes the issue doesn't lie solely with PCOS. A complete fertility evaluation should include both partners to ensure the most effective treatment plan. Another option that's gaining attention is the use of inositol supplements, particularly myo-inositol and D-chiroinositol. These naturally occurring compounds help regulate insulin and support ovulation. Many women with PCOS have reported improved menstrual cycles and even spontaneous pregnancies after consistent use. While more research is still being done, inositol is generally considered safe and is becoming a popular natural tool in PCOS fertility management. Even once conception occurs, women with PCOS face certain pregnancy-related risks that require careful monitoring. These include a higher risk of gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, preterm birth, and miscarriage. That's why prenatal care for women with PCOS often involves extra attention to blood sugar control, weight management, and blood pressure. However, with early intervention and good medical care, these risks can often be minimized. Many women with PCOS go on to have smooth, healthy pregnancies and deliver strong, healthy babies. It's all about preparation, awareness, and support. For women who aren't ready to conceive now, but hope to in the future, it's important to start managing PCOS early. While fertility may decline with age for everyone, in women with PCOS, delayed treatment of hormonal and metabolic issues can make conception harder later in life. Regular cycles, a healthy weight, and balanced insulin levels are all signs that your body is moving in the right direction. Tracking ovulation can also help. Tools like basal body temperature charts, ovulation predictor kits, OPKs, and cervical mucus observation give valuable insights into your cycle and help identify your most fertile days. Apps and fertility monitors can also be helpful for some women, especially those with irregular cycles. But perhaps the most important part of this journey is self-compassion. The path to pregnancy with PCOS can be long, frustrating, and emotional. There may be months of trying without success, feelings of jealousy or guilt, and the pressure of time ticking loudly in the background. But none of these things define your worth, your womanhood, or your future. Every woman's fertility journey is unique, and PCOS doesn't mean you're broken. It simply means you may need a different roadmap. With persistence, the right guidance, and a supportive team of healthcare providers, pregnancy is not just possible, it's absolutely within reach. In the next part, we'll focus on long-term PCOS management, how to prevent complications like diabetes and heart disease, and how to maintain a balanced, fulfilling life with this condition. Because while fertility is one piece of the puzzle, your overall health and happiness matter just as much, today and every day going forward. Long-term PCOS management. Thriving, not just surviving. PCOS is a lifelong condition. While its symptoms can come and go, and severity may vary at different stages of life, it requires consistent management. But managing PCOS isn't just about reducing symptoms. It's about building a lifestyle that supports your body long-term, reduces your risk of future health complications, and helps you live a full, vibrant life. As women with PCOS age, the hormonal landscape shifts. The irregular cycles of the teenage years, the fertility challenges of the 20s and 30s, and the metabolic risks of the 40s and beyond all require different approaches. But no matter your age, one truth remains constant. PCOS is manageable, and your health is not out of your control. One of the most critical focuses in long-term management is preventing chronic diseases associated with PCOS, especially type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and high blood pressure. Because insulin resistance is so common in PCOS, it places women at much higher risk for developing these conditions as they get older. That's why blood sugar monitoring is vital. Regular checkups with your doctor, including fasting glucose tests, HbA1c levels, and cholesterol screenings, help track your metabolic health over time. Catching issues early means more time to make lifestyle adjustments that can reverse or control the damage. Heart health is another area of concern. PCOS can lead to increased levels of LDL, bad cholesterol, and triglycerides, while reducing HDL, good cholesterol. These imbalances raise the risk of plaque buildup in arteries, which can lead to heart attacks or strokes if left untreated. Maintaining a heart-healthy lifestyle, rich in fiber, healthy fats, and regular activity, isn't optional. It's essential. Weight management, though sensitive, plays a big role in long-term PCOS care. Not because thin equals healthy, but because even small, sustainable weight loss, just 5 to 10% of your body weight, can improve insulin sensitivity, regulate periods, reduce androgen levels, and improve overall energy. But the goal isn't to chase a number on the scale. It's to support your body's systems to work better together. As you move through different life stages, your PCOS symptoms might evolve. For instance, women in their 40s might find that their periods become more regular as ovulation slows naturally with age. Some androgenic symptoms, like acne, may fade, but others, like hair thinning, might become more noticeable. The key is to stay in tune with your body and adapt your management strategies over time. Menopause and PCOS can be a confusing combination. PCOS doesn't go away at menopause. It changes. Estrogen and progesterone levels drop, but insulin resistance and metabolic risks often persist. Some symptoms may improve, but others like weight gain, hot flashes, or mood swings may become more challenging. Postmenopausal women with PCOS still face an elevated risk of type 2 diabetes and heart disease, so continuing with regular monitoring and lifestyle care is still important. Mental health maintenance is another long-term priority. The anxiety and depression associated with PCOS don't disappear on their own. Ongoing self-care, therapy, and mindfulness practices should be part of your routine, not just during flare-ups, but always. Seeking help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strategy for strength. In addition to lifestyle changes, many women find success in long-term PCOS management through holistic practices. This might include acupuncture, herbal remedies, adaptogens like ashwagandha, or working with naturopathic doctors to tailor an integrative approach. While scientific support for some of these options is still growing, many women report symptom relief and improved well-being when combining modern medicine with traditional or natural therapies. Birth control pills, while commonly prescribed to manage PCOS, are not a long-term solution for everyone. They can regulate periods and reduce acne, but they don't address the root causes. Once stopped, symptoms often return. If used, it's best to pair them with diet, exercise, and other hormonal support strategies to build a more resilient foundation for your health. One of the best long-term strategies is tracking your symptoms. Using a journal or health tracking app to monitor your cycles, mood, energy, sleep, skin changes, and weight can help identify patterns and triggers. This awareness gives you the power to adjust proactively rather than reactively. Equally important is building a care team you trust, a supportive doctor, a knowledgeable nutritionist, a therapist, maybe even a coach or mentor who understands PCOS. Surrounding yourself with people who listen, believe you, and work collaboratively makes all the difference in your ability to thrive. And finally, community. PCOS can be isolating, but it doesn't have to be. There are millions of women walking this path, each with their own stories, struggles, and strengths. Connecting with others who understand what you're going through creates a sense of solidarity and encouragement. Whether it's a social media group, a local women's circle, or just a friend who gets it, don't walk this journey alone. Living with PCOS doesn't mean your life has to be defined by symptoms. It means your body is calling for care, balance, and attention. And you are fully capable of giving it just that. In the ending section, we'll bring everything together, reaffirming your strength, your ability to heal, and why understanding PCOS is the first step toward lifelong empowerment. Because PCOS is part of your story, but it is never the whole story. Claiming your power. The final word on PCOS. PCOS may start as a confusing diagnosis. It may feel overwhelming, unfair, or even invisible to the people around you. But here's the truth. PCOS does not define you. You are not broken, you are not less feminine, and you are certainly not alone. Understanding PCOS, truly understanding it, is the most powerful first step you can take. Because once you know what's happening inside your body, you can make informed, intentional choices. And with the right tools, knowledge, and support, you can thrive. Think about how far you've come just by learning. You now know that irregular periods aren't just random. that facial hair and acne have a deeper cause, that your mood swings, weight struggles, and fatigue are not your fault. You now understand that PCOS is a hormonal and metabolic condition that affects multiple systems, and that there are multiple ways to manage it. This journey is not about perfection. It's about progress. Small steps, like switching to whole foods, walking daily, prioritizing sleep, or seeking support, build up over time. Healing happens gradually. There will be days you feel powerful and others you feel frustrated. Both are valid. Both are part of the process. You are not lazy. You are not dramatic. You are dealing with a condition that has been misunderstood and under-researched for far too long. And yet, here you are, showing up for yourself, learning, growing, and taking your health into your own hands. For every woman who's ever felt confused by her body, for every girl who's been told her period is just late or her acne is normal, for every woman who's been ignored, dismissed, or misdiagnosed, this story is for you. PCOS is real, it's complex, and it's treatable. The road ahead might be long, but you don't have to walk it blind. With every fact you learn, every meal you prepare with love, every walk you take, every boundary you set, you're reclaiming your power, not just over PCOS, but over your entire life. And here's something important. Your worth isn't tied to your symptoms. Whether or not your cycle is regular, whether you have clear skin or facial hair, whether you lose weight or not, you are already enough. Healing starts with self-respect. It continues with self-awareness, and it thrives with self-compassion. So where do you go from here? You keep going. You keep learning. You stay curious. You advocate for yourself and for others. You seek out doctors who listen, partners who support, and communities that uplift. You become the expert on your own body. And then, if you feel called, you help another woman do the same. Because the more we talk about PCOS, the more we understand it. The more we understand it, the less power it has over us. The final word is this: you are not alone. You are not hopeless. And you are not helpless. You are powerful. You are capable. And your story is just beginning. PCOS is part of your journey, but it's not your destination. You were made for more. And now you know how to claim it. You are more than your diagnosis. PCOS may be part of your story, but your strength, your voice, and your journey toward healing are what truly define you.